Good afternoon, travel advisors, and welcome to today's Jack's Facts training session. As always, thank you for taking the time to join us. We very much appreciate your time. I am Doug Cook. I'm the publisher of Jack's Facts Travel Marketing, and I will be your moderator again today. And today we're joined by Omar from Turkish Airlines and also our friend Jimmy from Agencia Global. Today's session will include an update on Turkish Airlines from Omar and also an overview of Agencia Global's air booking system. Very generously, Turkish Airlines is going to be giving away one round-trip economy ticket from any US gateway to any Turkish Airlines gateway. The two things you will need to do to qualify for that is to stay with us through the entire presentation, which won't be that long, and also to register with Agencia Global, and Jimmy will be giving you information about how to do that later. A couple other things, there will be time for questions and answers after the presentations, and we encourage you to please do so in the space provided. And also today's presentation is being recorded. We will send you a copy of that recording, and you, as always, can find the recordings on our website, which is jacksfacts.com, underneath the Advisor Resources menu tab. And that's everything from me, so let me turn things over to Omar.
Hello, everybody. This is Omar from Turkish Airlines Atlanta office. I'm responsible from sales and marketing in the Atlanta office and the Southeast region. Today, I'm going to give you brief information about Turkish Airlines services and then post-COVID updates about the carrier's service. First of all, I want to start with the great motto of Turkish Airlines as the airline flying to more countries than any other airline. Even at the time of COVID, we are able to fly 111 countries as of now and 203 destinations. And 43 of them are domestic destinations in Turkey. We were flying to 165 destinations before COVID, but right now we were able to brought back 203 of them and then 111 countries. If I give you the brief detail about the continent-based number of destinations, America is the one of the most important continent that we are keeping our operations. 9 countries, 22 destinations, specifically United States, we are flying to 11 destinations, and then we launched lately Dallas, Texas, and a good news from our side is Seattle is coming in a couple months, and it's gonna be our 12th destination in the United States. We have also very good presence in Africa, Middle East, and Europe, and Asia Pacific. You can also remember Turkish Airlines as the airline flying to most destinations in Africa also. And I give you a brief introduction about the Turkish Airlines fleet. This is one of the youngest European carrier fleet among the old carriers with 8.5 years age. And then right now we are operating with 372 aircrafts. When we have 88 of them in new orders. If I give you a bit a development of Turkish Airlines, then you can see it from the graph. Starting from 2005, where Turkish Airlines put a strategy to grow rapidly in the region, till now, you can see the number of growing fleet. And right now, we are the airline having the 10th largest fleet in the world with 372 aircrafts. The advantage of the Turkish Airlines is being able to operate within 3 to 5 hours distance to most destinations in the world, international destinations in the world. You can see also the domestic and the international passenger growth numbers. Between 2003 and 2019, pre-COVID numbers, we have almost 13% compound annual growth rate. Right now, we are operating from the state-of-the-art airport, the new Istanbul airport, with 500 plus check-in points, 180%, 80% plus jet bridge usage availability, and 143 jet bridge is available at this airport. Almost every aircraft is approaching to the gates so that they can operate. And this is considered one of the biggest airport in the world as well, with huge duty-free area and then lounge availability. As I mentioned earlier, Turkish Airlines is able to offer 50 plus destinations, international destinations within 3 to 5 hours distance from its hub, Istanbul. And this is a big advantage. We can operate with very comfortable aircrafts, narrow bodies, wide bodies, depending on the availability. And then this is good opportunity to feed the entire network and arrive to any destination in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. In terms of connectivity, Istanbul is geographically really important and valuable place. We are offering the very first and the best connectivity among the other European carriers hub. When we compare Istanbul, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, Charles de Gaulle, London, Heathrow, Istanbul is holding the best location, and then almost the best detour factor. And when it comes to Turkish Airlines services, Turkish Airlines is right now serving in 2 class of service. One is economy, one is business class. And for our business class passengers, we have 3 different lounges available at the Istanbul airport. One is specifically for the business class passengers. The other one is dedicated to miles and smiles passengers and the business class passengers as well. And the third one is the domestic lounge. All these lounges are very well developed and then having a lot of amenities inside. You can consider this is a very special lounge, giving the opportunity to those travelers to take a shower inside, have some special massage like a spa service. They have time to rest and then spend their valuable time with comfort. And also our business class passengers has priority entrance, premium check-in options, and then at the transfer desk, they're also getting help like the other passengers. If I need to give you the post-COVID updates about Turkish Airlines, starting from the announcement of COVID worldwide as the pandemic, we started distributing our hygiene sets to our passengers, as you can see in the picture. And then we also changed every single filter at the aircraft, and we replaced them with the HEPA filter, giving opportunity to clean the entire air in the aircraft, 99.99, 97%. They ensure the air quality and cleaned in every minute. And then our staff is also trained with these measures and precautions so that they can maintain a good operation during the flight. And all these hygiene sets are distributed at the gate before passengers get into the plane. When it comes to our safe travel measures, we are expecting our passengers to check in online. And then at the time of COVID, at the very first 3 to 5 months, we were not allowing passengers to carry cabin baggages. But after this ban lifted by the domestic authorities in Turkey, we are right now allowing our passengers to carry cabin baggages. Previously, we were checking them for free as the third bag. Right now, we are offering 2 bags free for our passengers, business class and economy. And for the economy class, it is allowed £50 per each, and then business class £70 per each. Mask use is still mandatory in the aircraft, and all our cleaning teams are obeying the rules, and then those measures, precautions are utmost priority to keep the air quality in the aircraft and then maintain a safe and proper operation. When it comes to our services, for sure after COVID, we are not able to distribute any paper product. One of them was our landmark Skylife magazine. Right now, Press Reader is offering Sky magazine online. You can download it to your phone and then view all these, valuable information given in the magazine through your phone and screens. Exclusive Drive is the service that we are offering to our business class passengers. From certain destination points and all these destinations in United States, you are able to ask for exclusive drive and also book these through exclusive drive website. And this exclusive drive is offering you to like a Uber service, those limo cars, mainly Mercedes, BMW branded cars, are coming and picking you up from your home and taking you to airport within given like 50 miles perimeter. You are able to take this service between your starting point to airport. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I want to right now pass it to Jimmy to talk about a bit Agencia services. And lastly, I want to say Agencia is one of the important partner of Turkish Airlines. And then we are doing some promotional campaigns time to time, which Jimmy is going to mention about right now. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Omar. Jimmy, are you all set?
Yes, I am, and I was actually on mute and speaking to myself for the last 30 seconds, so thanks for the heads up, Doug.
I thought we lost you.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for taking the time to be with us today. I'm Jimmy Stavropoulos. I'm the Director of Sales for North America at Agencia Global. Very happy to be here today to present Agencia with you in collaboration with Turkish Airlines. And as Omar mentioned, we do have a strategic partnership with Turkish Airlines. Our business together has only been growing over the last couple of years, with the exception, obviously, of what happened to the industry last year. But glad to see restrictions are slowly lifting across the globe, and it looks like we've got this century's version of the Roaring 20s ahead of us. So our airline partners and us decided to take this time to focus on education for agents, as well as on Agencia side specifically, presenting you with one of the most user-friendly and versatile booking tools on the market. So I don't want to go through every single aspect of Agencia today. I know you're all busy, so I'm going to give kind of an abbreviated presentation, but I'm going to make the same offer today that I make during all my webinars, which is if you like what you see when we're looking at some of the key features of Agencia, feel free to reach out to me following the webinar, and at that point we could schedule a one-on-one screen share where we could really go into detail of everything. So before we begin, just to give you an idea of who we are and what we do, Agencia Global is the name of our booking agent. The consolidator that we are is Voyage à la carte. We're a Canadian consolidator based in Montreal that got into the consolidation market back in 2012 and then started expanding into the US in 2014. So we actually have agreements with over 150 airlines for both point of sale Canada and US. We do actually allow for some cross POS selling. So if, for example, you're an agent in Plattsburgh who wants to book out of Montreal, then Agencia is a tool for you because you could access our point of sale Canada net fares and commissions. So on that note, let's get into a quick presentation of Agencia, and let's begin. So once you get to your homepage, you would just click on Book Flights, and at that point, you could book either a round trip, a one-way, or a multi-city itinerary. Now, I just have Murphy's Law kicking in here, and it looks like my internet has frozen. Yep, we've got a browser freeze. Give me a second, I'll just refresh. Of course, that's going to happen during a webinar. Oh, yep, there we go. Apologies, everyone. So while we're waiting for my computer to refresh at that point, as you could see, both on the home page and on the search results on the search page, and as well as on the results screen, you'll notice that we have some Turkish Airlines banners. Now, the reason I want to draw your attention to the banners, as Omar alluded to earlier, with the security, with the health measures in place, you could feel secure flying with Turkish Airlines, but we don't just put banners up on Agencia for any reason whatsoever, just to kind of create some brand awareness for our airline partners. There has to be something in it for our travel agents. So we're not a typical consolidator in the sense that we'll ask an airline, hey, if you're willing to put up X dollars, we'll put up, 5 banners on 5 different destinations for the next month. We actually use brand awareness marketing on Agencia to leverage promotions exclusive to Agencia users. So beginning today until November 25th, we actually have net fare discounts of 10, 12, or 20%, depending on the booking class with Turkish Airlines. Booking for flight dates today until March 31st, 2022, with a couple of blackout dates in there. But once you click on the banners, that's usually where you'll get a pop-up that gives you the terms and conditions. We just had it approved today, so we're working on the material for the pop-up, which is why there's nothing at the moment. But once you log into Agencia, effective either later this afternoon or tomorrow, it would actually tell you exactly which destinations and which RBDs you would need to book to get that additional net fare discount. Now, let's just give this one more shot. So on the first page, you could book either a round trip, a one-way, or a multi-city, and it looks like we're still having the same problems. My goodness. Okay, let me just open a new window. My apologies, everyone. So we'll just close that one and get to book flights. Doug, in all the webinars we've done, I think it's safe to say this is the first time this has happened.
I think you're right, but it's
yeah. So just for anyone watching right now, I can assure you this is my browser and not Agencia creating the issue, but here, you know what? We'll just exit and try again. Here we go. So we will click to book a flight. If we have to continue with the slower version of the demo, I'll make it an even more abbreviated presentation, and then you're more than welcome to reach out to me for a full webinar, but this is strange. Yeah. All right. You know what? Just bear with me. I am going to open a new window. Here we go. Apologies again, everyone. Here we go. So we will go to Agencia Global and log in and book a flight. There we go. Okay, so I just had to close my browser. There we go. So you could book either a round trip, a one-way, or a multi-city. And again, it's frozen, so oof. So I guess I'll just have to explain more than demonstrate for today. So you could book a round trip, a one-way, or a multi-city flight. Multi-city allows you to book up to 5 city pairs for the time being. And as I mentioned earlier, you could sell both POS or POS Canada, POS US or POS Canada. So basically, when you see here this currency display selector, it's actually not just a currency display selector, but a point of sale selector as well. So if you click on CAD right over here, you'll be accessing Voyage à la carte or Agencia Global's commissions and net fares for point of sale Canada. So as I mentioned, the multi-city allows you for booking up to 5 city pairs, but let's just book a traditional round trip. So Omer, you mentioned you're in Atlanta. We'll start off in Atlanta, and hey, since we're working with Turkish Airlines today, we're going to fly to Istanbul. So you would enter your origin and destination, and then your travel date. So let's go out into next week. Let's say a Saturday to Saturday itinerary, 2-week flight. Agencia is going to allow you to book up to 9 passengers, and it looks like the speed is back, so that's fantastic, on one PNR. And this is where you just provide the breakdown of adults, children, infants on lap, and infants on seat. And you could even isolate a cabin class if you'd like. You could also just filter down the results immediately for nonstop flights only. So let's do nonstop because we're going to be shopping some Turkish Airlines fares. And then you could also select your preferred airline if you want to only shop a few and have your search results populate quicker. How would you search for them? You could either spell out the airline name, at which point they would pop up, or just put their airline code and then you would check off this little box and hit search. So let's uncheck that for now. So once you hit on search flights, you're looking at a 15 to 25 second delay as it runs through our GDS partners, our API connections, and our aggregator partners to pull out as many fares as possible. Now, I did select direct flights, so I expect, there we go, Turkish Airlines would be the only one to appear on the results page. And actually, let's just go back here because I selected CAD, excuse me. So we're just going to go back and I'll select USD. Now, you'll note right here at the top of the results page, it recaps the information you selected on the first page. So it says here fares are charged in CAD for Atlanta to Istanbul, and there's my internet getting choppy again, for February 12th to 26th. If you have made any mistakes, that's where you would just hit refine your search and it'll take you back to the search page, which again should happen any minute now. My apologies to everyone on the call waiting for that. So here, we'll just switch over to USD because then it's going to access my Turkish Airline net fares for point of sale US. Now, obviously, if you're checking point of sale Canada, we don't have any of that content, any net fare content out of Canada for a flight out of Atlanta. Oh boy. So no content out of Atlanta, but if you click on USD, then Omar and his team have made net fares available to us from all online gateways for Turkish Airlines. There we go. So we selected USD. We're just going to hit search once again. So as you saw earlier, 15 to 25 seconds until it brings us to the second page. Now, as mentioned, the information you selected is recapped at the top. If you made any mistakes, you would hit redo search as I did, and it'll just bring you back to the first page. And then what I'll show you is our flexible day matrix. So let's say, for example, you have a customer here. I just arbitrarily selected February 12th to 26th. But let's say they're telling you, hey, you know what? I'm looking at leaving Saturday to Saturday, but I've actually taken 3 weeks worth of vacation. So I want to take a look and see what else is available. We have our flexible day matrix right over here, which is still searching. And what this is going to do is add and subtract 3 days from both the outbound and the inbound dates. And then it'll pretty much hyperlink every single one of these prices here. So you could select a different date range. As you scroll over it, your mouse turns into a little finger pointer. So all of these are hyperlinked. Now, I'm not going to waste your time by clicking on any of these, but basically, if you were to click on this price right over here, the search will rerun displaying prices for February 9th to 26th, for example. Any cell you highlight over, you put your cursor over, it's going to highlight both the row and the column just to make it easier on the eyes. If someone says, for example, I absolutely need to leave on the 12th, but I'm flexible on the return, and so on. And then you could also filter your results. So I removed the direct flight feature earlier. So you see we have a very exhaustive list, but sometimes when you click on some of these search results, for example, you'll see connection times of 9 hours on the way out, 4 hours on the way back. So we've created a bunch of search features right over here. So let's say, for example, you only want to work with net fares because you're looking to mark up your fare. You can get rid of the published fares, and you're only interested in a direct flight. At that point, when you scroll down here and click on Apply Filters, now only your direct flight options are going to be presented to you. So at this point here, we see we have our net fare with Turkish Airlines. If we click on View Flights, it'll show us the itinerary available. So what are we looking at here from left to right? We've got our number of seats remaining, our flight number, our RBD, segment OD, departure and arrival times, flight duration. And then if you click on the little blue eye right over here, you'll get a pop-up that's going to display the fare rules for the flight. So everything you're looking here, it's in all caps because it's just automatically pulled straight from the GDS. So we're not allowing for any human error here. If the airline updates their fare rules, you'll have access to them live. There's no one at Agencia that needs to run an update or anything to that effect. So you just simply select your outbound and your inbound flights, and then you're ready to click on book. So here, once again, it's just confirming seat availability. There's about a 15 to 25 second wait as that's going on, and very similar concept to the top of the second page, being that when you get to the top of the third page, it's going to recap the information you selected on the second page just to make sure there were no errors. So here's the flight that we selected earlier. Outbound and inbound flights are separated by blue highlighting. In the case of connecting flights, you'll see that they're separated by green highlighting, so it'll show the connection time and the next flight number and RBD and so on. And then, again, I'm having, yeah, there we go. We're freezing again, so we'll just wait for that to unfreeze. For those who didn't notice, I just clicked the little autofill button over here. You as an agent would not see that because I'm using my demo account at the moment. So what that's going to do is just fill out the form right down below here with fake passenger information, so I don't make you watch me fill out passenger information. So that's almost done. There we go. So we've filled out our form. Here's passenger 1, passenger 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And this is where Agencia begins to separate itself from the pack when it comes to the consolidation industry. So when we run these webinars, we not only want to show you the ease of use, my choppy internet today notwithstanding, but we don't only want to show you the ease of use of our booking platform, but we want to present ourselves to you as a consolidator who's not only trying to grow their agent base arbitrarily, but grow their agent base by listening to agent feedback. So when we run these webinars together, we not only hope that you're interested by what we're showing you, but we're also open to feedback on how we could improve the tool. And when we talk about improving the tool, we're not just talking about, you know, lower prices or more aggressive commissions or anything to that effect. We want to know what's affecting you as a travel agent specifically that no other consolidator on the market has addressed. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, this definitely isn't our first rodeo with JaxFax travel marketing. We've run a bunch of these webinars. We've opened the floor to suggestions, and we've gotten 2 resounding answers in the past, really, about how we could improve our tool that would give agents an edge versus any other consolidator they're working with right now and make their lives easier in the process. So number 1 was agents told us that anytime they wanted to mark up a published fare, which usually airlines don't allow for on their merchant account, or they wanted to mark up a net fare by more than what the airline allowed, they would have to push that onto their consolidator's merchant account, therefore creating a second credit card charge on the customer's credit card statement. And at that point, you're basically exposing how much extra money you're making on that sale. So we've had agents tell us straight up that they feel they can make more on their bookings, but because they're exposing that markup on the customer's credit card statement, they get calls after the fact, you know, kind of inquiring, hey, you've presented us with a package price. Now I'm seeing a separate charge. Is this for the hotel room upgrade I got? Is this money going straight in your pocket? That limo service to and from the airport that you promised me for free, am I paying for it? So we've created a tool actually that will allow you to hide your markup, regardless of what the airline's markup policy is. So in the case of Turkish Airlines, I'm sure it's not news to anyone, there's a 25% markup feature for net fares, but I've actually set my demo account to 0 markup. So we're just going to put ourselves in a bubble where no markup is allowed, so I could show you exactly how, in the case that you want to mark up your fare by more than 25%, or in the case of some other airlines that I won't name right now who don't allow for any markup on either net fares or published fares on their merchant account, how you could go about doing so. So in the price breakdown section right over here, first, for starters, if we go to the bottom right corner, you see how much you stand to make on this booking. So right now we took a net fare, which is not commissionable. We all know that. And you haven't added your markup yet. So if you just sell it at the bare bones net price, you're not making any money on it. To the left, you see the charges on the customer's credit card. So I've set this account right now to accept credit card on the airline's merchant account for the base fare, but not for the markup. So if we go to the agency markup section right over here, if I hover over this, it'll say Turkish Airlines merchant account allowance 0 as per my settings, but otherwise, of course, you could mark up to 25%. And then you'll see maximum agency markup. So by default in Agencia, we've set it to allow for you to mark up for up to double the base fare on the same ticket. So you'll note down here, the base fare is $31.35, multiply that by 2, and that's how you get that $62.70 in the maximum agency markup section. So once you've applied the max markup allowable by an airline. If you want to mark up by more, and that's what we're going to get to right now, let's say, for example, in the case of these 5 passengers, you have connections in Istanbul because you've been selling a lot to that destination. So you upgraded their hotel room for them. You had the limo service to and from the airport. Maybe you've got some 5-star restaurant connections and you've thrown in a couple of vouchers. Regardless, you believe that this justifies, let's call it $1,000 markup, $200 per passenger. At that point, you would put your $1,000 in the agency markup section. And then down here, this is what we were talking about, separate line items. Right now, I'm not showing you anything that any other consolidator doesn't already offer. The industry standard at this point is that you'll still have the maximum allowable airline markup on their merchant account, but then anything over and above that goes on your consolidator's merchant account. So in this case, it's $1,000 plus the 3% service fee, basically just to offset the charges we incur by the bank by accepting credit card on our merchant account. And that gives you your total charge of $63.54 right down here. So in the passenger breakdown section here, you've got your base fare per pax, your taxes and fees. If you hover over the little question mark, it'll show you what the breakdown of those taxes are, your subtotal, markup, service fee, and then your grand total per passenger. Now in the agency payout section, we added our $1,000 markup, so you know you stand to make $1,000 on this booking, but you want to avoid exposing your markup to the customer. So the way we allow for you to do that is if you go back here to this pricing strategy section, you'll notice that lowest price is always selected by default. What we mean by that is if you want to mark up your fare by $1,000, the lowest price Agencia will allow you to charge is this $63.54 down here, but as a function of 2 line items. That said, if you were to select single charge, now the $63.50 will probably go up by just under $200. There you go, we're at $65.14. But why is that? Because now you forced the entirety of that transaction onto our merchant account. So the reason the price went up a bit is because now the 3% applies to the entirety of the fare rather than just the incremental markup. But if you're looking to go back down to that $6,400 range, then at that point, for example, you could bring your markup down to $875-ish. And here you are back to that 63. I think we were at 63.84 before, if I'm not mistaken. So you're right back to the price you were at. So if you don't feel you could add just another 100 and a bit markup, at that point you could just shave it off to 1,000. But we're the only consolidator who will allow you to mark this up by $875 more than what the airline allows for on their merchant account while having one single charge. So the end result here, rather than getting a phone call giving you the third degree about why there's a separate line item on their credit card statement, at the absolute worst, you might get a call saying, hey, I bought from ABC Travel, I'm traveling with Turkish Airlines, and I'm seeing Agencia Global on my credit card. Is everything okay? At that point, very simple explanation. Of course, Agencia is our wholesaler. They issue the tickets. Everything's on the up and up, and off you go. So now, the reason I selected 5 passengers on the search page was because I wanted to demonstrate how we solved problem number 2 that we heard about a lot from agents attending these webinars. So let's say, for example, this was 5 friends looking to take a trip to Istanbul together. You've gone through the process now of explaining the features and benefits of traveling with Turkish. You've walked them through the lounge experience that Omar showed you before. You've talked to them about the safety measures that Turkish follows and so on. You thought that you're about to just swipe a card and close the sale, but here now you have 5 passengers, each taking a credit card out of their pocket saying, hey, I want to pay with my own card because I'm collecting points or I'm getting cash back. And unfortunately, the reality today is that this is where you have to go all the way back to page 1 and book 5 separate PNRs for 5 people who are traveling together just because they each want to pay with their respective credit cards. So Agencia solved that problem for you. If you scroll further down, when you get to the payment section, you'll see that single payment is selected, so 1 credit card for all 5 passengers. At that point, you would enter your payment information. Now, again, this is just fake info because I pressed that autofill button at the top of the page. You would click on I agree to the terms and conditions, hit book and pay, and you're done. Now, that said, let's say these customers each do want to pay with their own credit cards. That's where you would hit multiple payment. Once you do that, if you scroll back down to the payment section, you'll see it's grayed out and it says, please make sure to assign your passengers or fees to their credit cards. So how would you do that? You'll notice right up here, we've created 5 passengers, each with the exact same charge. We've got 5 card slots right over here. You grab each customer, drag them to their respective credit cards, and then when you get to the bottom here, you'd have card 1, Vincenza, for example, and then you go to card 2. You could say, okay, Jimmy's paying for that one. Card 3, Omar is paying for that one, card 4, Doug, and so on. So now as you're flipping through the cards, there's Omar's card, there's Jimmy's, there's Vincenza's, and so on. So you would still be booking one PNR, but you've accepted 5 different credit cards on the same PNR. Now what Agencia won't allow for is fare splitting. So Vincenza's fare here, for example, for $12.77, we won't allow you to break that up into $600 on card 1, $300 on card 2, and $377.17 on card 3. But you could assign each customer to the respective cards. Now, let's say, for example, this isn't 5 friends. This is 2 couples, one of which has a kid, and each couple wants to use their card. No problem. You'd go to your drop-down, set it to 2 cards. You've got card 1 over here, card 2 over there. You've got your couple with their kid right here. You've got the other couple with no kid here. Card 1 is going to be charged for $38.31 and card 2 for $25.54. So basically the total price here times 2 and times 3. So now just to wrap up the demo, since Agencia is set to create only one fake credit card number for demo purposes, I'm switching back to single payment. But at that point, that's where you would hit book and pay. It takes about a minute for the booking to be confirmed. Now, because I'm in the demo account, I'm not sure if it'll actually bring me to that confirmation page or not. But basically, on your confirmation page, you would get a 9-digit Agencia Global confirmation number. If you have any questions, you could call us, you could email us, you could even chat with us right down over here if you'd like. And tickets are issued by email within an hour. Now, when you've made your reservation, you could download an itinerary that we create for you and an invoice. There you go. So actually, it did flag it as a test booking. So you wouldn't see this here, but the rest is all the same for you. So here's your 9-digit Agencia Global confirmation number. You've got your PNR, recap of the flight right over here. And then in your documents section, you'll see here, customer itinerary. If you were to click on English, as I mentioned earlier, we're based in Montreal, so you have the option of English or French. When you click on that, it'll bring you to your itinerary right here. So you'll notice right up here, it says Voyage à la carte. As I said, we're from Voyage à la carte. But once you create your own account and you're at ABC Travel, this right up here would display ABC Travel with your contact information right over here. So if you are, for example, a home-based agent and you're using, some form of Word or Excel template and you're manually creating your invoices, don't worry about that. Agencia is taking care of it for you. And then you also have your customer invoice, which once again, when you click on English, you'll have an invoice that looks something like this. So once again, you have your booking number, your validating carrier, airline record locator, and the charge for each passenger individually. What I want to draw your attention to on the invoice is when you select the single charge feature, fees are listed as 0. So we force that into the base fare on the invoice. So once again, you don't have to divulge how much you marked up your fare by. So that's pretty much it for the Agencia Global booking process. I did want to give you the abbreviated version of the presentation, but there's a lot more we could go through together if you are interested in registering with Agencia. Now, again, for the little hiccups we had, blame that on my choppy home internet. Really looking forward to being able to go back to work at the office full time. But if you are interested in signing up with us, you would just go to www.agenciaglobal.com. Here, let's just click over here to bring you to the homepage, or well, here we go, www.agenciaglobal.com. And once we get there, you'll be presented with a little link that will allow you to register, and Murphy's Law kicks in one more time before the end of the presentation, so just bear with me as that loads. But basically, whether you're an independent agent or you're a travel agency with multiple travel agents, Agencia could work for both of you. Here we go. Okay, so we'll just do it from here. Unfortunately, I'm having a few little internet glitches. So when you click on www.agenciaglobal.com, you click on register. All we're going to ask you for at this point is some form of accreditation. So be it ARC, IATA, TIA, KIDS, CLIA, TRUE, OPC, CPBC, you name it. We want to ensure that not just any Joe Blow off the street is signing up to Agencia so they could book themselves their own less expensive travel for themselves. So we do ask that you have some form of accreditation. We'll ask you for your company name. So here are the forms of accreditation that we do accept. You would enter your contact information right under here. I'd love to scroll lower, but again, my browser is blocking. We'll get there eventually. And then we're going to ask you for the name and email address of a master user. So that master user, would basically be able to add sub-agents under them or other master agents. So a master agent could see everybody's bookings, everybody's quotes, look at commission statements, and so on, while agents could simply view their own bookings and pull their own reserve quotes. So this is where you would put your master agent information, first name, last name, email address was right up here in the contact information area. And once you hit on register, we're going to get a notification. We just do our due diligence to make sure you're not just a random bot setting up an account. But once we do our due diligence, you'll be approved within the hour and you're good to go to book with us. One final note before we wrap up, Agencia is 100% free to use. So there's no registration fee, there's no booking fee, we don't take a cut of our commissions, and we don't mark up our net fares. So any Turkish Airlines net fare that Omar and his colleagues have loaded for us in the GDS is exactly the fare that we'll display in Agencia. So earlier on, I said there's a Turkish Airlines promotion that's kicking in today with net fares discounted between 10 to up to 20%. Those fares are going to be displayed in Agencia as they are in the GDS. So if Omar gave me a base fare of $800, a net fare, of $800 on a published fare of $1,000, you will not see it in Agencia for $802, $803, or anything like that. It'll be at $800 flat. And on that note, thank you for taking the time to listen in. Again, I apologize for the browser issues I was experiencing, but I'm sure that once you register and try the tool out on your end with a proper internet connection, it'll run seamlessly and way better than what I was able to demonstrate today. So Doug, back over to you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Jimmy. And I think everybody understands internet problems and the challenges we can have with live demonstrations. It's happened to all of us. And fortunately, it's not happening to me, because if it did happen to me, the webinar would just cease to exist. So.
And you see, Doug, it's basically the universe in action, because the minute you started speaking again and I clicked on the Agencia logo, I'm not sure if my screen is still showing, but it took me straight to the homepage that I wanted to show everyone that was freezing about a minute ago. So if you go to www.agenciaglobal.com, everyone, here's the register button, hit there, and it'll bring you to the page that I just showed you a couple of minutes ago.
Perfect. Thanks, Jimmy. Great. And Omar, thank you for your presentation as well. And we do have a few questions here. Omar, the first one is for you. They're asking when you will bring back your 787 aircraft to the US, or if there are plans for that to happen.
Let me answer quickly. Right now, we are serving out of United States 787s, 900 type aircraft. Capacity is 300 passengers, 270 economy, and then 30 passengers in business class. And we are serving with 787s out of United States. And then depending on the needs and the capacity increase, let me tell one more time, Turkish Airlines is one of the airline giving the maximum capacity right now when it is compared with the pre-COVID conditions. And then we are the airline increase its capacity compared to its pre-COVID capacity. That's why we are trying to give the best service possible with brand new 787 aircrafts. Most of them are like, at most 3 or 4 years old aircrafts, and we keep getting those aircrafts. That's why they can consider anytime Turkish Airlines, as we are trying to give the best service possible with the brand new equipment.
Perfect. And Omar, do you know what the business class configuration of that aircraft is?
In terms of seating,
yes.
Let me tell briefly the configuration for 787s are 1-2-1 configuration, and each and every seat has aisle access and separate from each other. It can be considered like cabin like seating. Every single passenger has aisle access and sitting and leaning on a special cabin.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. We have another question for you. It's regarding the limousine pickup program. They're just asking to confirm that does apply to your U.S. gateways as well for people flying business and first class.
Yeah, that's true. For those who are flying in business class out of all U.S. destinations to specific arrival points, mostly covering Middle East, some destinations in Europe as well, and then Eastern Europe. Those passengers are eligible to request limo service through specific link that they're getting after complete ticketing. And passengers are able to book them. And I believe the mile limit is 50 miles to the airport that they are departing from. And beyond this 50 miles, passengers are supposed to pay the difference out of pocket. But most of these passengers are arriving to airport within 50 miles perimeter.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Jimmy, a couple questions here for you. I think you addressed this in your presentation, but I'll let you address the question.
Sure.
They're just asking whether your pricing is net or commissionable.
So when you get to the search results page, you'll see that the fares are either presented as net or pub. If there is a commission available, that would be on the pub fare. So when you click on the itinerary, when you click on your outbound and your inbound flight, we actually have a live commission calculator that kicks in, and it'll tell you on the spot how much you stand to make on that booking. In the case that an airline offers both net fares and published fares, commissionable published fares, which actually is the case with Turkish Airlines, I would encourage you to check out both. Usually they're presented one above the other, excuse me. So, you know, if you have $1,000 published fare with a $50 commission, but there's a $900 net fare, then by all means, make sure to book the $900 net fare and mark it up by 100 to get to that 1,000, rather than just making the $50 commission on the published fare. What we don't have, because it just happens to be the case in the industry, is commissionable net fares. You're either going to make a commission on the published fare, or you're going to get a discounted net fare on which you could apply markup as you see fit.
Right. Makes sense. Great. Thank you. Another question, Jimmy, regarding booking Turkish Air through your system. They're asking, can we use Turkish Air merchant account based on the maximum markup allowed?
Yes. So I was presenting out of a demo account, and I purposely set Turkish Airlines markup allowance to 0 just for me specifically, so that I could show our single charge tool. But of course, if Turkish Airlines, for example, allows for 25% markup, your base fare is $1,000, then, or excuse me, your net fare is $1,000, then of course you can mark it up to $1,250 and have the transaction on Turkish Airlines merchant account. The reason we added the single charge feature is if, for example, you think, you know, the service you're offering your customer warrants a markup to $1,500, then by all means use the single charge feature and put the entirety of that $1,500 on Agencia's merchant account, just so you don't have to have that $250 on a separate line item. If you want to have it on a separate line item, by all means, feel free to do so. But the feedback from agents was that 2 separate line items was a bit of a headache for them, which is why we created that feature in the first place.
Excellent. Thank you. Omar, we have a question for you. You did ask in the introduction to this that people ask the hard questions, so I have a question for you. They're just saying that they sometimes have difficulty making seat reservations through the Turkish Air website. Is that something you're aware of, or can you address that?
The point is, time to time, we are having this trouble after some system updates on the website. We are having troubles with the seat selections and seat purchases. And last time I noticed that, I believe a week ago, and then we informed colleagues at the headquarters so that they can fix the glitch. But time to time, we may observe some system glitches. In that case, they can directly email to Turkish Air, related Turkish Airlines offices, contact information given in the website. If they are not able to book it through website or reservation, the passenger's reservation, we can sell the seats or book the seats for them. Right now, Turkish Airlines is selling all these seat selections, depending on the location in the aircraft, till 24 hours before the flight departure. That's why, in case of any obstacle or some, difficulties, they can email to related Turkish Airlines office which passenger is departing from, so that we can help in person real quick. And Doug, I want to show also one more thing. If you can share my screen one last time.
Sure, absolutely.
Which is going to be also valuable for our attendees. This is a very helpful Turkish Airlines information page. Can you see it right now?
Yep, now we see it.
Yeah. When you go to Turkish Airlines website landing page from www.turkishairlines.com, there's a booking engine for sure, but down there, there's an information about travel restrictions and then current flight plan and travel updates. When you click on travel restrictions, there are a lot of information here, but beside that, we simplified these restrictions with a map. Map is giving information about what kind of major restrictions you can observe depending on the point of arrival. For example, these green countries given here having some test and travel restrictions, and then those information are getting all these updates from IATA website, and which is IATA created thematic, we call, and that's why all up-to-date information. In case your passengers are asking travel restrictions, you can also direct them to Turkish Airlines website so that they can get information about travel restrictions, and so that we can also minimize the amount of issue they may face at the airport. Because right now, we are experiencing a lot of passengers coming without tests, without knowing the information of the destination country. It's gonna make things a lot more simple.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that clarification. Great. And that looks like all the questions we have for this afternoon, gentlemen. So I think we will wrap things up here. Omar, Jimmy, thank you very much for those presentations. Travel advisors, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We do very much appreciate it. Jimmy, Omar, any final words?
Just one more thank you to everyone for taking the time to be with us today. Really appreciate it. And a quick reminder, I don't want you to have, sat on this webinar from beginning to end and not qualify for the raffle. So please keep in mind, if you're still on the line right now, box 1 out of 2 is already checked. You attended the entirety of the webinar. But to qualify for the raffle, you do also have to register for an account on Agencia Global. So make sure to visit www.agenciaglobal.com, hit the register button, and you're good to go.
Perfect.
And thank you so much, everybody, spending this 1 hour period with us and being with us to get these all information. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you, everyone. Do keep your eyes open to your email accounts for invites for future training sessions. We have several coming up over the next few weeks. We'll be joined by Jimmy again, so keep your eye out for that. But for now, that will do it for today. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.